Okay. Good late afternoon, early evening. It is day 116 of coding every single day. Yeah, so today mainly just worked on computer architecture. Um, that is all I worked on coding wise. I also had an advising appointment to talk about classes for my senior year. And looking pretty good. I only have to take 4 classes each semester. Um, It sucks though, because out of those 8 that I'm gonna have to take, 3 of them aren't computer science related. So that's not the best, but at least I don't have to like cram for 2 semesters to graduate. So that's good. Um, Other than that, what I actually worked on today. So I worked on the finishing up the assembler first. I didn't do a lot of testing last video with the assembler. So I started testing it immediately. There was just a bunch of issues with it. One of the big ones were the opcode I was passing through as like a decimal representation. So I was only testing on like the add and subtract, which actually I was only doing the add for testing, which is literally 0001, but it's as a decimal that's a 1, and as binary that's 1. So outside of that, if I did 0011, which is supposed to be 3, it was interpreting it as 11. So I had to just convert all those to binary. Um, and then one of my instruction encodings that I'm trying to take, if I wanted to do like any type of shift or rotate, it's one opcode, but then there's a type, a 4-bit field type for which one we want. It's only supposed to be 2-bit, but um, I now made it 4-bit because I don't really need, because we had 2 bits, and then it's like all I need is 2 registers because I have one register for where we're going to store the result, and then one for the immediate value that we're applying for how much we want to rotate or shift the um, the value in the given register. So um, so that I had to, what I was doing beforehand was I had you had the opcode, the register destination, one register for destination, one for A, source register B, and I was just trying to put the type in the destination, but the destination one, the way it is doing it is it's taking, it would be taking in like R3 in the assembly language, and all it's doing is shifting or ignoring that R, so just +1, taking that 3, and so now we know we want to access register 3, and so when we're building out the binary encoding, I just compared the 3 decimal to the um, binary representation of 3, so it just like converts. It does like an and, so everything whatever. Um, and so that was what changed in the assembler, and that pretty much was everything I think I changed in the actual assembler. But then the big task of today was hooking up the API and the main simulator to the assembler so that um, I could upload the instructions from the interface, and then the API would take those and send it to the simulator, and then the simulator would take each one of those instructions line by line, talk to the assembler, and then make the binary instruction, and then save that to DRAM. And so, actually, this process was not that bad. It was literally um, take in the file input, read the file line by line, take each one of those lines, and send it to an API. I have a Flask API route. It takes each one of these still in plain assemblies, like add register 3 is the destination and the result of adding register 2 and 1. So add R3, R2, R1. And so that line would be sent to the main simulator function, um, and then it would call the load or store instruction function, and then that would call to the assembler, and then it would return back the binary encoding, or the decimal that just also is the same thing as the binary encoding, um, and store that in DRAM. So I mean, the only thing I was stuck on for like a little over half an hour was I was in the wrong directory compiling the main simulator. So when I'm referencing from the API, the simulator, object executable, to start the sub process so I can start sending commands to the simulator. Um, I was in the assembler directory compiling the simulator. So the way I have the API set up is it looks to the assembler directory. No. It looks to the simulator directory to look for the instance of the executable, so it can run that as a sub process. But I was for some reason compiling that in the assembler, and it took me half an hour to figure that out. Actually, earlier I realized I was doing that, and I guess I just did the same thing. So anyway, so I was in the in the background you can see me just trying. I was using ChatGPT at the end, just trying a bunch of different things to try to flush out the prints, and it just ended up being I don't even know what it was doing. It was making me use import time, and I'm like, what? So yeah, so then I ended up just reverting it to what I did a couple days ago, because that was not the problem. It was just I was compiling in the wrong directory. So pretty good progress for the day. Up next is probably taking updating the actual interface, so that we can see in DRAM what got saved, and then we can see all the instructions in the code, and starting to get that API to talk between the interface and the simulator pretty seamlessly. And then I can start in the pipeline. So tomorrow, hopefully I can get through the interface pretty quickly, and we can start on the fetch stage of the pipeline. So yeah, other than that, I think tomorrow I'll be hearing back from the company about the internship, because they did say about mid next week. So I'll let you know what their decision is. But other than that, that is all I have for today. So I will see you tomorrow for day 117. Bye.